Carnival Cruise Line have announced that they are scheduled to get 2 more ships by the end of 2023. Carnival Corporation has made an announcement that they should have a total of 42 out of 91 ships which should be in service by the 30th of November 2021. AIDA Cruises' AIDACara ship, which has been in service for 25 years, has been sold to an undisclosed buyer. Norwegian Cruise Line has officially announced their long-term strategy to reach carbon neutrality. Royal Caribbean International has successfully completed their first test cruise with volunteers on board the Freedom of the Seas. Virgin Voyages' Scarlet has arrived in Portsmouth ahead of the first cruise scheduled. And the Genting Dream cruise ship has arrived in AIDA cruise terminal ahead of the scheduled restart next month in July. What's good everyone, you're watching Get Cruise Ship Info and more. Before we jump right into the video, may I request you to please go ahead and click that subscribe button and also activate all notifications so that you stay updated whenever I drop my next latest cruise news update. Now, without further ado, let's get started. To begin with, let's start with Carnival Corporation. So, 8 cruise line brands from Carnival Corporation have announced plans to resume guest cruise operations with AIDA Cruises, Carnival Cruise Line, Costa Cruises, Cunard, Holland America Line, Princess Cruises, p&ocruises UK, and Seabourn, which will be sailing in the United States, the Caribbean, and Europe. The company said that it expects to have a total of 42 ships in service through the end of its fiscal year 2021, and that date would be by the 30th of November 2021. Representing 52% of the company's total capacity across its global fleet of 91 cruise ships. So as for their North American brands, they include Carnival Cruise Line, Princess Cruises, Holland America Line, and Seabourn. As for their Europe and Asia brands, those include Costa Cruises, AIDA Cruises, p&ocruises UK, and Cunard. This is what Roger Fritzl, Chief Communications Officer for Carnival Corporation, had to share. For all of our brands, our highest responsibility and top priorities are always compliance, environmental protection, and the health, safety, and well-being of our guests, our shipboard and shoreside employees, and the communities we visit. We are excited to see 8 of our world-leading cruise line brands sailing this summer, and to date, we've announced over half of our capacity returning by the end of the fiscal year, as we work to meet significant pent-up demand for cruising and get back to what we do best, serving our guests with one of the world's most popular vacations. The broader restart of cruising marks a critical step in the recovery of our brands and the industry as a whole, which provides a major economic impact and supports jobs across multiple sectors around the world. As our cruise line brands collaborate closely with our port, destination, supply chain, and travel agent partners on a responsible resumption of cruise operations, we will ensure we continue working together across the industry in the best interest of public health. Moving on to Carnival Cruise Line. So Carnival Cruise Line has announced plans today to grow its fleet by 2 additional ships by 2023, taking the delivery of an XL class ship that had previously been assigned to AIDA Cruises that will arrive in late 2023, as well as taking ownership of the Costa Magica from Costa, with that ship going through a dry dock, renaming and Carnival branded conversion, and joining the fleet by mid-2022. These 2 ships are in addition to the new capacity growth represented by Mardi Gras, Carnival's first XL class liquefied natural gas powered ship, which starts sailing from Port Canaveral on the 31st of July, and her sister ship, the Carnival Celebration, which will be delivered and sail from Miami starting in late 2022. This is what Christine Duffy, president of Carnival Cruise Line, had to share. We are excited about these additions to our fleet, which reflect the strong position that Carnival has established in the United States, the pent-up demand we continue to see for cruise vacations, and the overall plans by Carnival Corporation to optimize capacity and growth in key markets. While our immediate focus is on our restart of guest operations this summer, this is another cause for excitement at Carnival, and we will be announcing more detailed plans about home ports, itineraries, and ship names very soon. Moving on to AIDA Cruises. Carnival Corporation's AIDA Cruises brand today announced that the AIDACara has been sold and will leave the fleet soon after a total of 25 years in service for the German cruise brand. The buyer was not yet disclosed. AIDA did say that the fleet move gives it the opportunity to optimize its fleet structure with a view to achieving its sustainability goals. AIDA Cruises was started with the AIDACara way back in 1996, which first entered service as the AIDA, later being renamed to the AIDACara. Let's move on to Norwegian Cruise Line. So Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings has today announced the creation of its long-term climate action strategy and goal to reach carbon neutrality through reducing carbon intensity, identifying and investing in technology, including exploring alternative fuels and implementing a voluntary carbon offset program. The company said it is committed to offset 3 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent over the 3-year period beginning in 2021 to help bridge the gap in its decarbonization efforts until new technology becomes available. This is what Frank Del Rio, President and Chief Executive Officer of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, had to share. We take climate change very seriously and have proactively developed a long-term strategy with an ambitious goal of reaching carbon neutrality through 3 action areas, including reducing carbon intensity, identifying and investing in technology, and implementing a carbon offset program. Our commitment to purchase 3 million metric tons of carbon credits is a measurable step in near-term emissions reductions, which allow us to take action today and help us bridge the gap in our decarbonization efforts as we prepare for a lower carbon future. Our global sustainability program, which is called Sail and Sustain, is centered around our commitment to drive a positive impact on society and the environment. And our long-term climate action strategy reinforces this commitment and aligns with the vision of the Paris Agreement to achieve a climate-neutral world. So Norwegian said that it is looking to reduce overall footprint by minimizing fuel consumption and increasing energy efficiency. Ongoing investments in systems and technologies have resulted in a reduction of fuel consumption per capacity per day of approximately 17% from 2008 to 2019 for the entire 28-ship fleet. In addition to this, the company has achieved an estimated approximate 14% reduction in CO2 emissions per capacity per day across its fleet between 2015 and 2019. As 9 new, more fuel-efficient vessels are introduced to the fleet through 2027, the rate is expected to further decrease. Time to move on to Royal Caribbean International. So Royal Caribbean International's Freedom of the Seas was back in Miami on Tuesday following the completion of its test cruise. Our United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention requirement if a cruise operator wants to sail with less than 95% vaccinated guests. The Sunday to Tuesday sailing on the Freedom of the Seas saw the ship dock at Perfect Day at Coco Cay as the vessel sailed round trip from Miami. Now, volunteers aboard included about 600 Royal Caribbean crew, and the CDC was on board too. The CDC did sail with us. We had a wrap-up meeting this morning and looks like all is good. These were the words of Royal Caribbean International's President and CEO, Michael Bailey. Now, we will be waiting for an official process and feedback from the CDC over the next few days. If all goes well, the Freedom should receive a COVID-19 conditional sailing certificate, allowing it to operate from the United States with less than 95% of vaccinated guests. Moving on to World Cruises. So the Genting Dream from World Cruises has docked at Kai Tak Cruise Terminal in Hong Kong on the 23rd of June, ahead of its scheduled sailing from 30th July. The Dream Cruises ship has become the first cruise vessel to dock at the terminal since the start of the pandemic way back in February 2020. Now last month, that is in May, the local government had approved cruises to Norway starting in July. Cruise lines operating from Hong Kong would need to have all crew fully vaccinated and will need to require all guests over the age of 16 to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Guests under 16 are permitted to cruise with a negative COVID-19 test result. Now, all guests would need to use the Leave Home Safe mobile application to scan the QR code of the cruise ship before boarding. Guests are also required to test negative against coronavirus 48 hours or less before boarding. Now, during the initial stages of this operation, no port calls will be made. And lastly, we have an update from Virgin Voyages. So the Scarlet lady has finally arrived in Portsmouth, England on the 21st of June in preparation for Virgin Voyages' first commercial cruise. This also makes it the largest ship to have docked at Portsmouth port. So strict COVID-19 measures will be in place for guests in advance who are traveling to the port. The Scarlet Lady is scheduled from the 6th of August for a minimum of 6 sailings varying between 3 to 4 night stays, operating with reduced capacity with the limit set by government guidelines. The Scarlet Lady is scheduled to sail around the UK. And with that, we conclude our latest cruise news updates for 23rd June. Please do share your comments down below. And yes, if you enjoyed watching this video, subscribe to my channel and a thumbs up for my video will really be appreciated. Until next time, you take care and stay safe.